that morning. Look, he's got proper Hollywood teeth, that otter.
To tell us about you and was it you and a buddy went to Nepal? Were hiking, trekking through Nepal?
I was teaching there, but we went. I was teaching actually in
there.
India.
Oh
yeah,
my God!
yeah.
What a wonderful experience!
It was an incredible experience in a Tibetan Buddhist monastery, and in the exiled Tibetan community that live in sort of that part of.
Now, how did this come to you? Why did you want to do this? How did it happen?
It's incredible. A woman came to speak to my school, and I was really inspired by it. And in England, sometimes, if you're lucky enough, like I was, to have the option, you can take a year between school and going to university. And I decided to take a gap year, as they call it, and go to India and teach in this community. Her talk fascinated me, and that alone was an amazing experience. And then we had a bit of a break and a holiday, so we went off trekking. Didn't have much money, didn't have a guide, really didn't have a clue, and there were 4 of us, then 3, then 2, because the other 2 got altitude sickness. I started to get altitude sickness with the last remaining friend,
Adam. Do you remember what the elevation is you're talking about here?
I can't, no, and it wasn't spectacular. We just did it too quickly, and you really need to take your time and do it properly. Yeah, acclimate. And I didn't, and I had crazy hallucinations and realised that I was in trouble.
Really, actual hallucinations from the altitude sickness?
Yeah,
what sort of things? Visually, you were seeing things?
Well, yeah, like sort of, I had this whole hallucination that somebody had come in and stolen stuff from us, and then I went outside and there were these stars, and they sort of started exploding like fireworks. It turned out a new group had actually arrived that night in the lodge where I'd slept, and they didn't steal anything, but they did think our possessions were there. So it was like, it was reality mixing with paranoia. Yeah. So
now, when you spend time at altitude, does that do brain damage, or is it just a temporary? No, I've wondered about this myself. I'm not trying to be cheeky here. I'm just
let the good people be the judge. Set myself up for that.
But now, one hopes that you and your teaching experience made a difference for somebody in those classes.
I doubt it. I wasn't a very good teacher. No, I think I was more of a, to be fair to them, they taught me a hell of a lot more than I could ever teach them in return. But I think it was a fantastic cultural exchange.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you're probably being modest about this. I'm sure some part of that experience benefited those kids for the rest of their lives.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. And it might be a kick if, you know, if one of them now is sort of going, oh, sir, he in big film. I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'll speak better English than that by now. Otherwise, my...
Now, you're in the big Star Wars.